Welcome to the podcast summary of Étienne Marie-Antoine Champion de Nansouty. Today's story is about a cavalry commander who kept proving that discipline could be deadlier than drama. Étienne de Nansouty comes through as a man who cared fiercely about doing cavalry work properly, argued with superiors when he thought they were wrong, and left a mark not just in battle, but in the way cavalry itself was rethought. He also managed the awkward trick of serving monarchy, republic, empire, and restoration, all while trying to hold on to his honor, his men, and eventually his finances. One of the clearest things about Nansouty is that he didn't chase promotion for its own sake. He repeatedly refused promotion to brigadier general because he wanted to stay with the 9th Cavalry Regiment, where he'd built a unit known for exceptional discipline and training. That tells you a lot right away. He valued mastery over status, and he seems to have believed that a well-made regiment was worth more than a shinier title. Later, his 6th Regiment Heavy Cavalry Division was widely regarded as the best administered and the most precise in maneuver in the Grande Armée, which is saying something when the competition includes names like Dopul, LaSalle, Montbron, and Kellerman. His gift wasn't reckless dash. It was preparation. He deployed carefully, timed charges well, and kept his men moving and aligned in ways that helped them stay focused when battle had every reason to dissolve into noise and panic. At Austerlitz, that style paid off in a very visible way. Nansouty repeatedly wheeled his cavalry through the gaps between infantry units and launched one charge after another into the Austro-Russian cavalry reserve. The reserve broke, and his division took relatively light losses while earning unusually strong praise for its coordination and discipline. That's the dream version of cavalry command. Hard effect, limited waste, no theatrical chaos required. At Friedland, things were messier. He pulled back from Heinrichsdorf when he thought he might be cut off, and that set off a sharp dispute with Grouchy. But he then helped repair the situation by repeatedly beating back Russian cavalry and silencing the guns that were threatening the French communications line. So even where his judgment was contested, he still showed the ability to stabilize a dangerous moment. Then at Hanau, during what could have been a very ugly retreat, his guard cavalry protected Drouot's Grand Battery against around 7,000 attacking coalition cavalrymen. After that, they countercharged, broke several enemy formations, and helped turn a dangerous withdrawal into a successful passage. That's one of those moments where competent cavalry command changes the whole emotional temperature of a battle. Wagram is where the bigger lesson comes in, because it exposed the limits of simply throwing mass cavalry at a problem. Nansouty's division attacked through intense artillery fire against prepared Austrian infantry and paid for it heavily. 164 men killed, 436 wounded, and 1,141 horses killed or injured. Those horse losses matter enormously. Cavalry strength isn't just about brave riders. Once the horses are gone or wrecked, the arm itself is crippled. The 2 Carabiniers of Cheval regiments were hit especially hard, losing horses at an extraordinary rate of 77%. Nansouty responded in the least romantic way possible, which is probably why it mattered. He pushed for steel cuirasses for the Carabiniers. That armor was adopted in 1810, so a battlefield disaster became an actual reform instead of just another tragic anecdote from the Napoleonic Wars. Wagram also gave us a very revealing clash of personalities. Napoleon criticized Nansouty for delaying support to MacDonald, and Nansouty shot back, "It is not your majesty at any rate who can teach me how to handle cavalry." That is not exactly the softest way to address the emperor. But it captures something important. Nansouty had real technical confidence, and he was independent enough to let that confidence show, even when it created friction. He wasn't interested in pretending that obedience and expertise were the same thing. That independent streak shows up even more sharply at Cran. Napoleon ordered him to assault a redoubt that Nansouty believed would simply destroy his men, and he refused. His answer was stark. "I am going alone. There is nothing but death there, and I will not lead these brave soldiers to it." Napoleon revoked the order. It's a famous scene because it puts military honor in plain view. Not as swagger, but as restraint. And that wasn't a one-off posture. He rejected pillaging and violence, protected captured émigrés during the revolution, and in Tyrol, he took money that had been given to him and distributed it to local hospitals. His final recorded sentiment was, "In all my life, I have not done anyone wrong." Whether anyone can fully live up to a line like that in war is a big question, but it's clearly the moral identity he wanted to leave behind. Nansouty's career also runs straight through the political whiplash of France, from monarchy to republic to empire to Bourbon restoration. He served them all, collecting titles that ranged from first squire of the emperor to captain lieutenant of the king's musketeers. That kind of continuity can look opportunistic from a distance, but it also reflects how senior officers had to survive repeated regime change while keeping armies functioning. He did receive substantial imperial endowments, but he also lived at a costly aristocratic standard and drew no income from plunder. After the Restoration suppressed his colonel-general position, the drop was steep. In the first 4 months of 1814, he had income equivalent to more than 104,000 francs, and after that, he was down to a 25,000 franc salary. He quickly transferred allegiance to Louis XVIII, and that helped encourage other generals to accept the new order. Even so, the transition left him financially strained and physically broken after years of campaigning. There's something almost painfully human in that. A man who navigated every regime and still ended up worn down by the cost of outlasting them. So the lasting picture of Nansouty isn't just a cavalryman charging into smoke. It's a commander who trusted preparation, protected his soldiers when he could, and turned hard experience into practical change. In a period that rewards a lot of dramatic personalities, he stands out for judgment, stubbornness, and a very unfashionable commitment to restraint. This episode was generated by Podkey. Create your own at podkey.fm.